So this is I think the first print Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic.
Ninja Turtles?
So you're talking the very first Ninja Turtles?
I'm pretty sure this is the one I had when I was a kid. My mom kept it, so this is the very first one.
84 is when it came out. Who was your favorite Ninja Turtle?
There was Raphael, Michelangelo.
You know who you remind me of? Master Splinter.
He was like the rat ninja boss teacher.
Yeah, just like you. The rat ninja boss teacher.
Okay, so tell me, how much you want for it?
Well, I saw somewhere that one of these went for 50,000.
Okay. So how much do you want for it?
60,000?
So more than they went for.
This is signed, though.
Okay. I know there's big money here if it's a first edition and it's in great shape. You know, I don't know what a signature looks like.
I mean, looks like a Ninja Turtle.
I know someone who will definitely know about this.
Okay.
I am going to go call him and see if I can get a hold of him to come down here and take a look at it.
Okay.
All right?
I'm gonna go look for some pizza while you're gone.
Help customers. You know what? Pizza does sound kind of good. Like I said, I've met this guy a couple times. He was gracious enough to come down. Kevin Eastman.
Hey, Chumley.
Pleasure to meet you.
I'm sorry you're friends with Rick.
Let me get around there.
Hey. Oh, nice to meet you. I love your work.
Thanks. Is this your work?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
fantastic. Wow.
So I've heard the stories, but I might as well hear it from the horse's mouth. How did this comic actually come about?
It really came out of a complete joke. Both Peter Laird and myself wanted to be Jack Kirby when we grew up. We wanted to write and draw comic books for a living. I was a huge fan of Bruce Lee, and I figured if Bruce Lee was an animal, what would be the stupidest animal? I had this idea, did this sketch, turtle in a kung fu pose, mask on, nunchucks wrapped to his arm, and I put it on Pete's desk, and I said, this is going to be the next big thing. He got a laugh. I drew 4 turtles, each with different weapons, and we said, this is the dumbest thing we've ever seen.
So the big question is this a first printing?
Yes, it's definitely first printing.
So what's the difference between the first printing and the second printing?
The second printing was a little bit lighter, more of a pinkish tone to it, so I definitely know this is a first printing just because of the deep, rich redness of it. So my signature is undeniable because ever since the very, very beginning, I always wanted to make it different than anybody else, the way they were signing the comic, so I added a turtle head on each one, so this is definitely my signature.
All right. Do you know what these things go for?
I've seen them range, you know, all over the map price-wise.
You have no idea what it's worth?
No idea what it's worth, so.
All right. But it's legit. That's your signature.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, at least we know that, and we'll figure out a price later. We'll have lunch soon, dude. I'll call somebody up, and we'll get this figured out.
Look forward to it. Thanks, guys. See ya.
All right. Sorry to do this to you, but when we're talking a lot of money, I sometimes have a lot of people look at things. Let me call one more guy and have him take a look at it.
All right.
I'm sure this guy can figure out a price on it, so give me like 15 minutes.
Okay. I'm really excited to see what the experts say. Knowing that Kevin said it was a first edition and that was his signature, I'm hoping maybe I can make a little bit more than what I was coming in for.
So, what we got here?
A first edition, first printing, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, signed by Kevin Eastman.
You had this when you were a kid?
When I was a kid, yeah. It's my original comic book.
I was there when this book came out. I laughed at this book. I didn't care about this book. I didn't buy it. It became the biggest thing in the world. There was only 3,000 of these things printed. Just for some context, X-Men, 300,000 print run. Spidey, 250,000 print run.
So it's super rare then.
It is, but what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to take a look at it first. Let's have a look at the condition of this book. You got one little tiny ding there, and then, oh, what do we have here? Couple little, is that like a light stain? Now, if you're aware of grading, it's usually like an 8.0, just called a VF, which is a very fine. From what I can see, this is a line 4. So this is a special book. I don't know how you kept it in this condition for so long. I don't know if you had it in some weird room floating in the air. You did a great job. Now, you want the good news? They can press that little floor out.
Oh, wow.
There's a possibility that you can get this book to a 9.6.
Oh, wow.
Okay?
Okay.
So we need to take that into consideration.
So what's it worth?
A 9.4 straight right now, 11K.
And that's including his signature?
Yes, that's including the signature.
Okay.
So how much more would this bring if it was a 9.6?
We're talking minimum $20,000.
Okay.
But in current condition, retail value 11,000.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, man.
All
Appreciate
right,
it.
thank you very much. All right, guys.
See ya.
Okay, it'll retail for 11. I mean, I'll give you 8 grand for it.
I mean, obviously I wanted to go 60. I mean, would you go like 30? The chance that it can still
No.
go to 20. Well, I guess.
Baby, that makes 0 economic sense.
All right, what about 15? There's a chance you could make 20 off of it.
Yeah, no. I'm a businessman, not a gambler.
You know what, I think I'll just try to get it pressed and see what it comes back and then kind of go from there.
Okay, but if you change your mind, 8,000.
All right, thanks. I'm really shocked that it came down so low, so what I'll probably do is get it pressed and then just hold on to it, and hopefully it'll go up to what it's really valued at.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how's it going? I have this amazing comic book I would like for you guys to check out.
Let me see it.
Don't you touch that.
Why?
You know what this is?
SpiderMan?
This isn't just like #1 Spider-Man. This is the first time anybody saw Spider-Man.
Oh.
You have one of the like holy grails of comic books.
Yeah, yeah.
Where did you get this?
My brother and I, about 20 years ago, we bought a collection of comic books, and this was just in there.
That's amazing. Oh, you're like the guy who buys the Andy Warhol at a garage sale.
Yeah, pretty much. I came to the pawn shop today to sell one of the most amazing comic books that's ever been. I'm gonna ask $16,000. I think if they'll see the potential of this, I mean, everybody knows Spider-Man with all the movies. I think this is a great opportunity for them to get this item.
Well, if that's real, man, I'll be blown away because The Amazing Spider-Man was the #1 in the series. This is like the introduction to that. It was kind of like the comic books version of a TV pilot.
Yeah.
You know, they did it, they tested it out, they gave the whole backstory, and I think we all know how well Spider-Man has caught on.
Well, this was a whole new era for comic books.
It's hard to exaggerate how important this thing is. I mean, this is where the entire mega franchise of Spider-Man began. And to collectors, it's practically priceless. I could probably charge people just to look at it.
So do you have any particular amount you're looking for on it?
Yeah, I'd like to sell it for $16,000
For a comic book?
for this comic book.
You know, it might be worth it. Comic books had their heyday where they were going for obscene amounts of money, and then they dropped. Do you mind if I have a buddy of mine come down and take a look at it? He can give me an idea of what it's worth.
That'd be great.
I mean, to be quite honest with you, I don't even want to be responsible for taking this thing out of the cover. Let me give him a call, and I'll be right back.
That'd be great.
This is one of the most valuable comic books ever, but price tag depends on condition. So I'm gonna need to bring in the big guns to help me out on this one.
Amazing Fantasy 15, man, fantastic. I've seen one in a 9.6 condition go for over $1 million.
That's exactly why I didn't want you to touch it.
So what are your concerns about the book, Corey?
You know, I can tell the difference between a 1 and a 10, but I can't tell the difference between a 4 and a 7.
Yeah. It's apparent we see some chipping here, which is very common with the paper they used back then. It's really tough to duplicate that. Let me just make sure we have all the pages here. This is such a classic page here. High school setting, Peter Parker. He's Midtown High's professional wallflower. So they're kind of poking fun of him. Everything looks intact. Doesn't seem like we're missing any pages. That's great, man.
What do you think?
On a scale of 1 to 10, now I'd put this in the 5 range. Very good to fine condition. Closer to the $6,000 to $7,000 range.
Really? That's way, way less than where I would put it.
Just you got a lot of issues on the cover, and the cover is everything. The $1 million book, you would have had none of this shipping, no stamp, you'd had no staining, no binding issues, no creases.
Right on, Johnny. I appreciate it.
All right, cool.
I was really shocked when he said $7,000. A condition of fine would be worth a whole lot more than $7,000.
What's your bottom number on the comic?
I mean, I was saying 16, and I would go 13.
13? I mean, the most I'm gonna pay is 7. I mean, so we've got a huge gap there. I can tell you from my experience, this is the worst time in history to be selling comic books.
I could go 11.
You know, with the condition issues that it has, it's just not there for me.
All right, bottom line, 10,000.
You know, man, I hate to lose the comic over 3,000 bucks, but I've got to stick at 7. Sorry, man.
All right.
Appreciate it.
I would love to have the superpower of kind of helping someone see things clearly. I think they would have realized this is worth a whole lot more than $7,000.
A guy came in with a Superman versus Muhammad Ali comic book from the 1970s. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to find a buyer. I'm just not sure how rare it is or how much it will be worth. So I've asked Johnny to come down and check it out. So here we go, man. Superman versus Muhammad Ali.
That's one of my personal favorites, man. That's awesome. I mean, you got Muhammad Ali, bigger than life at the time, and then Superman, of course. And then this is one of the oversized books, so $250. I mean, that was quite a bit for a comic book back then. Comics were huge in the 70s, and Superman comics were in huge demand. Just recently, there was a Superman comic that sold for over $3 million. The storyline was incredible. It brought some humanity to Superman. In the comic, he loses the fight, and they're carrying him out in a stretcher, which if you're a Superman reader, I mean, you don't see that kind of stuff. This cover here was done by Neil Adams, and he did such an awesome job on this one here. But look at all the faces in here. Look at Jackson 5 right there.
You have Cher, you have Martin Luther King. Even I think Stevie Wonder is on the cover.
Oh, really? They did the drawing, and then they got the permission from a lot of actors, and the ones they didn't get permission from, they put, like, mustaches on them.
All right, Johnny, so now that you've nerded out on me, what do you think it's actually worth?
Well, you have a lot of Superman guys that go nuts for this, and then you got a lot of sports guys.
Okay.
I mean, to see Muhammad Ali and Superman, any guy in the world would want to put that in their man cave or in their room somewhere. And all your pages are there. Condition of it looks great. I mean, I would say good to very good condition.
Okay.
I'd see no problem if you had this in your shop. Pulling 150, 175.
Okay. Johnny, my man, appreciate you coming down.
No problem. Thank you, sir.
Thank you again.
If Corey's able to buy this comic, I have no problem moving it because there's a big market for Superman comics. There's a lot of people who collect sports memorabilia who would go after this, being you got Muhammad Ali and Superman, bigger than life.
You wanted 300, but I gotta go with him, man. I'll give you $100 for it.
I think it's a little low only because, I mean, it's not just Superman. You also have Muhammad Ali, two very well-known figures. Superman's actually doing a movie very soon with Batman. I think this would move very fast. Would you do 225?
Let me explain to you something, buddy. I'm a pawn shop. I'm not a comic book store. You know, you might be in the wrong place trying to sell it. I'll give you $100 for it.
Could you do 135?
135? All right, man, I'll do 135. You got it down.
Great, thank you.
All right, so leave this here. Come with me, but just paperwork real quick.
I feel pretty good. I'll probably take my wife out to a nice dinner and then probably lose all of it gambling. Either one, whatever comes first.
My dad gave this to me, and he's hoping that it'll pay for my dress for my wedding.
Star Wars, Battle on the Death Star.
I really don't know that much about Star Wars. I'm kind of a superhero fan, but I'm getting married, and my dress is about $4,000, so hopefully the comic book will pay for it.
How much are you looking to get for this?
I'm hoping somewhere around $4,000. That's how much my dress is worth, and I really can't afford that, so.
I mean, it could be worth a lot of money. It is Star Wars, it is a comic. So I actually would like to call 2 people down here.
Okay.
One of them will be able to tell us about the comic book and how much it's worth. And the other one will be able to tell us who signed these and if that's really even Harrison Ford's signature, or did your dad's friend sign this in his bedroom and give it to your dad?
Probably.
I mean, it's pretty rare you see, you know, any kind of Star Wars signatures on comics. But funny enough, back in 1977, trying to promote Star Wars. Now, imagine this, okay? You have Mark Hamill, who was Luke. You have Carrie Fisher, who was Princess Leia. You have Harrison Ford, who played Han Solo at a Canadian comic book store. This is Ford. Beautiful, neat, flowing. It's signed in cursive, but it looks almost printed out to me. And here, I'm starting to see that, especially this F. It's literally the same transition points. The end's almost the same way. Up here is Mark Hamill and Luke Skywalker, of course, and then Carrie Fisher, who is Princess Leia. So you had the 3 main ones on there.
Awesome.
All right, so the signatures are good?
Well, I'll tell you, This is genuine. Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, they all signed that piece.
So Dad's friend didn't write those autographs in his bedroom?
No.
All
No,
right.
this is a great piece. It captures them right when they did Star Wars. You do not see the stuff.
Well, how much are they worth?
Now, I don't grade comics, and that's kind of not my thing, but based on the fact that the signatures are just really nice and vintage in the same pen, this is something that's worth $3,000 range.
That would be awesome.
Well, the signatures that were on the comic, having them together on a piece isn't exceedingly rare, but having them at the same event, and especially in 1977 when Star Wars came out, now that makes it ultra rare.
Oh, wow, Star Wars 3.
Yes, this is her comic.
All right. In 77, Marvel was trying to do a price increase, so they increased in select areas from 30 cents to 35 cents. So if you find a 1 through 4 with a 35-cent price variant, the value just goes insane.
Is there just not as many of...
No, they're rare. They're hard to find, especially on the Star Wars 1 through 4. This is a regular 30 cent, and first I really ought to make sure it's whole. It should be 8 pages to the centerfold, then 8 after. It's a nice shape. No tears, no creases.
Okay.
And good news is it's complete.
Awesome.
I think it's about a 9.4, so near mint comic itself without the signatures would be worth about $50.
But if it was a 35-cent comic, it would be...
Like $3,000.
And what's the difference in them? Is there any...
A 5 right
just
there.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Sorry.
Breaking my heart.
Someone give me a marker.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think I've heard everything I need to know. Thank
You got it anytime.
Nice to see you. Good luck. Take care.
Thank you.
Well, you know, based on what Paul said about the comic book, it really doesn't change the value too much.
Thank you.
You got it.
He said it was about a $50 comic book, but still, really, your whole value there is for the signatures, and that's kind of what makes it so special.
Well, you said you wanted $4,000 and you were trying to sell it for a dress. Honestly, I'm not going to be able to get you up to that $4,000.
What about 3.5?
It's just, that's more than it's worth. Those guys are really good at what they do, though, and I'm sure it is worth $3, so. Would you take $1,500 for it?
I'm not dropping below 3. I kind of want what it's worth out of it. I really want that dress.
I don't see myself paying any more than $1,500 for it. Maybe try out a couple comic stores.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. I'm positive I can get more out of it somewhere else. But if my dad's friend had spent 35 cents other than 30 on it, I would have gotten an extra $3,000 off of it. Life sucks.
All right, what do we have here?
I have a Mad comic, #1, that I'd like you to take a look at.
That's pretty damn cool.
I was hoping you'd think that.
Have you ever read it?
Comic books aren't really my thing. I was more interested in the Mad art.
It's cool. I mean, it's just really full of that, you know, preteen boy silly humor. Yeah. I can't believe you didn't read this.
I'm not a boy, so maybe that explains it. I am selling this Mad comic issue #1 because it was purchased as part of a collection and the comic itself was not what I was really interested in. I'm hoping to get $2,500 for this comic. I would use that money to purchase other pieces of art that I'm interested in.
This is extremely cool. Rarely am I in awe of something. I had a subscription to Mad Magazine when I was a kid, and this is Mad Comic. This isn't even Mad Magazine. It's neat that it's a comic because eventually it turned into a magazine format because in the 50s, the government was like getting all weird about comic books and, you know, that they were screwing up kids' minds.
Magazines weren't scrutinized the way comics were.
Exactly. When it was first released, Mad was more than a comic book. It was a satire on current events. It wasn't afraid to get really close to the edge, just like today. I'm assuming you want to sell this.
Yes.
How much you want for it?
I'm asking $2,500.
Okay. I have no idea if that's a good price. I know they go for good money. I know.
Right, and I feel like this is in very good condition. And if you're a Mad collector, you want to have Mad #1.
I actually have a friend who grades these things. Do you mind if I call him and get him down here?
No, that sounds great.
Okay. Hang out a few minutes. I'll be right back.
I'm fine with an expert coming in because I'm just as curious to find out what the grade of this particular comic would be.
Wow. That's awesome.
Well, it's Mad Comic. That's the weird thing. I've never seen one this old.
At issue 23, they become the magazine. They were trying to get away from the comics code.
So the Comic Book Code Authority, was that like a government regulation or?
Yeah, Dr. Frederick Wortham, he was on this witch hunt saying that comic books were destroying America's youth. Wortham had this huge Senate hearing and the Comics Code Authority got instituted. The publisher of Mad changed it to a magazine format so they could skirt the Comics Code Authority.
So what do you think?
Oh, it's very nice. Got some fingerprints on the back. And the interior front cover also. Cover's a little bit tanning. You have some creases here along the spine. Little tanning on the pages, looks a little cream. Here, let me take a look at that black. It's a beautiful looking book.
So grade-wise, it's a...
On a scale of 1 to 10, it's around a 6.5 or a 7.
I mean, what do you think it's worth?
I would put the value at about $2,000.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Anytime, Rick. This would be a great buy for the shop if Rick can get this for a good price. It'll sell quickly.
So what's your best price?
2,000.
Well, there's nothing in it for me at 2,000. I have to make money off it.
Okay.
So let me give you 1,300 bucks for it.
I would say 1,800.
There's no money in it for me. I can give you 1,400. Anything after that doesn't make sense.
The lowest I can go is 1,500.
If you change your mind, give me a call.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. I wasn't able to sell the comic today, but I will go home, I'll put it online, and I'm confident that I will get a price of $1,500 or better.
What do you have here?
I brought you Bob Hope, his original comic from 1950.
Hey, Rick.
What?
Check this out. It's a Bob Hope comic book.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Do you know who Bob Hope is?
The Price is Right.
No, that's Bob Barker. This is Bob Hope. Different old Bob. You know, Bob Hope and Bing Crosby, like Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin.
Who?
Like Harold and Kumar.
Okay.
All right, okay. Bob Hope, he was a pretty amazing guy. He entertained troops in World War II, Korea, Vietnam. He was the only honorary veteran in the United States because he did so much stuff for the USO. Lived to be 100 years old.
100?
Yep, and when he was in a movie, it made money. He was so popular, he had his own comic book.
Sweet.
Bob Hope was an absolute Hollywood legend. He was in over 70 films, and he hosted the Academy Awards 19 times. I'm just afraid anyone under the age of 50 doesn't really know who he is. So, where did you get this?
I actually got this on an online auction.
Okay, well, it looks in relatively good shape. I assume you want to sell it?
Yes.
How much you want for it?
I believe it might be worth about $500.
I don't know how collectible Bob Hope is, to tell you the truth. I just have no idea what the demand would be for this, due to the fact that it's not an action hero, it's Bob Hope. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
Okay? Do you mind if I have someone look at it?
That'd be great.
I have a friend in town. Yeah, he grades comics for a living. He knows what he's doing. I'll be right back. I'll give him a call, and we'll go from there.
Great. I'm glad an expert's coming in to look at the comic just to be sure that it's all there and to get their opinion on the grade.
Ah, a Bob Hope #1.
I mean, the whole weird thing is that it's Bob Hope. It's not like he's a superhero.
Yeah, in the 50s, superheroes were going down. They weren't as popular, and so what DC started to do is license celebrities. They did stories in here that would relate to some of the movies coming out, so they kind of did some cross-marketing there.
Okay.
The Bob Hope comic ran from issue 1 from 1950 all the way to 1968. I mean, 18 years for a continual run on a comic is pretty great.
So what's the grade on this thing?
All right, well, it looks pretty nice. It's got a few creases, tear along the spine there. Doesn't look restored at all. A little bit of tanning, the chip out at the top right. You know, I think CGC would give it about a 6.0.
The big question is, what's it worth?
That would put a certified 6.0 price at around $600.
That's the price, but are they easy to sell?
I mean, most people my age, we know Bob Barker more than we know Bob Hope.
Told you.
So you're calling me old?
No, you are old. I'm just stating a fact.
Anyway, I think at $600, you can't go wrong.
Okay. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
You got it, Rick. Anytime.
All right.
Good to see you again.
See you next time.
Take care. People love first issues. Issue ones always are collectible. How fast Rick will sell it, I really can't say. I know he gets a lot of foot traffic through the shop, and I think he should be able to move it.
So what's your best price of this?
Well, if it's worth $6 and I'm only asking $5, I hope that's a great deal for Bob.
I think Bob would say the price is gonna have to be right.
I mean, your problem here is it's Bob Hope. I mean, unless you're over 50, no one really knows who Bob Hope is anymore. I think it's gonna be a tough sell. I'll give you $300 for it.
How about $400?
I'll give you $325, and I won't go a penny more. I mean, it literally is it.
Congratulations.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
The price is right. All right, let's go write it up.
I believe it was a win-win for that particular price. I'm gonna give the money to my wife, and I have no idea what the hell she's gonna do with it.
What are you laughing at?
This is Bob Hope comic.
Bob Hope comic book.
Hey, you know Bob Hope.
It was like did New Year's Eve for like years and years and years. He's got the airport named after him in California.
That was Dick Clark's Rocking Eve.
It's not Dick Clark International Airport.
I know, it's Bob Hope International Airport. Never mind.
I'm just telling you, those old comedians have nothing on the new wave of comedians.
Why is it that all you guys ever want to do is argue with me?
You're always saying I refuse to learn anything. I learned that Bob Hope and Dick Clark aren't the same person.
No kidding. Maybe you'll grow a brain one day.
Coming from the guy reading comics.
Old Bob Hope comics.